Good governance in the public sector requires integrity and ethics. Integrity means being honest and having strong moral values. Public servants must act in the public best interest. Developing codes of the ethic reflects organizational integrity. Corruption as defined by the MACC Act involves briefly or misuse of a power for personal gain. It is a serious threat to the integrity of public institutions. Highlight that corruption is difficult to detect, often happening in secret and within key sectors like law enforcement and administration. From 2023 to 2024, several high-profile corruption cases gained media attention. This raises questions about MACC's independence and transparency.
In a world where integrity is constantly tested, one agency stands as the nation's shield against the corruption, which is the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. Every day, MAC officers carry out their duties with discipline and transparency and unwavering resolve. From public complaints to covert investigation, each case is meticulously handled through the procedures that ensure fairness and justice. At the heart of this institution lies a mission to uphold the law and to restore the faith in public service. Inside these halls, every document is reviewed, every witness is cautioned, and every file is examined. Carries the weight of the national trust. It is not about the catching the corrupt. It is about preventing abuse, protecting the innocent, and building a cleaner tomorrow. Because corruption is not just a crime, it is a betrayal of our future. And at a MAC, the fight is not a choice, it is a duty driven by the courage and bound by the honor. This is our Malaysia, built on unity, nurtured by justice, and protected by those who serve not for fame but for the future. But when corruption creeps into the system, it threatens everything we have built. It undermines trust, robs opportunity, and weakens the foundation of our democracy. That is why the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MAC, exists to safeguard the truth, to uphold the law, and to ensure no one stands above justice. From the boardrooms to the grassroots, corruption must be stopped at every level. Our duty is not just to enforce, it is to inspire change. Together we can build a nation of integrity, a Malaysia that rises not on power and privilege, but on trust, justice, and hope. It began quietly, a shortcut taken, a favor traded, a bribe offered, a silent bought, but the consequences are loud. Corruption bleeds resources from our school, our hospitals, our future. It weakens our institutions and deepens the gap between the powerful and the people. It's not a victimless crime, it steals from us all. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission acts without fear or favor. Every case is prosecuted with the courage. Every network of abuse uncovered, every lie is dismantled. This is justice fighting for truth, no matter the cost. Stand with integrity, speak up against the corruption, for your future, for your family, and for your Malaysia.
Leadership in the public sector plays a critical role in determining the effectiveness of governance, particularly in institutions mandated to combat corruption. In Malaysia, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) serves as the principal agency responsible for investigating and prosecuting corruption-related offences. In 2023 and 2024, the MACC faced several high-profile corruption cases involving political elites and government-linked entities. These complex investigations not only challenged the agency's technical capabilities but also tested its leadership's adaptability, integrity, and resilience. The first theory, situational leadership theory and leadership adaptability. According to Hersey and Blanchard's situational leadership theory, effective leaders must adjust their style based on their subordinates' maturity and the surrounding environment. In the heat of MSCC's most sensitive investigations, some officers were new and inexperienced. In these moments, MSCC leaders used a telling style, offering clear and direct instructions. But when dealing with seasoned investigators, the approach shifted. A delegating style gave room for autonomy while holding staff accountable. MSCC's environment was anything but static. Constant media attention and shifting political tides demanded flexible leadership. Leaders stepped in with coaching and supportive behaviors, boosting morale and offering reassurance in times of public scrutiny and external threats. Next is behavioral theory, balancing task and people orientation. We explore the behavioral theory of leadership, particularly the Ohio State and Michigan studies. These frameworks classify leadership behavior as either task-oriented or relationship-oriented. At the MSCC, leadership had to walk a fine line. On one side, rigorous protocols, legal compliance, and investigation secrecy, half marks of task-oriented behavior. On the other, building trust, reducing burnout, and fostering strong internal communication, essential elements of relationship-oriented leadership. During politically sensitive moments, employee morale was at risk. Leaders had to respond with transparency and empathy, upholding internal solidarity while maintaining public trust. As the Ohio State model suggests, the most effective leadership style is one that blends both structure and consideration, perfectly suited for MCC's complex and high-pressure investigations. The next one is Fiedler's contingency theory and structural constraints. Fiedler's contingency theory adds another layer. It argues that a leader's success depends on how well their style fits the situation, taking into account leader-member relations, task, structure, and positional power. At MSCC, the terrain was treacherous. Investigations into powerful individuals meant operating in low-control environments. Internal trust could be fragile, and legal ambiguity added complexity. Worse, MSCC's position was sometimes undermined by political interference. When the Attorney General's chambers, AGC, delayed prosecution, or when media leaks compromised operations, task-oriented leadership alone wasn't enough. MSCC leaders had to pivot, relying on institutional alliances, relationship building, and strategic negotiation. This was leadership beyond command. It was diplomacy under fire. Last but not least is path goal theory and staff motivation. Path goal theory developed by Robert House. This model explains how leaders can motivate their teams by clarifying objectives and removing obstacles. For MSCC leaders, this meant guiding officers through a storm of public expectations, political resistance, and institutional challenges. They used directive leadership to ensure investigations followed legal procedures to the letter. They offered supportive leadership to help officers cope with the emotional stress of being in the spotlight. With participative leadership, they brought seasoned investigators into strategic planning, creating ownership and empowerment. And through achievement-oriented leadership, they challenged their teams to meet high standards even under immense pressure. Together, these approaches help MACC leadership navigate uncertainty and maintain the agency's credibility. As House's theory suggests, when leaders align their behavior with the needs of their people and the realities of their environment, goals don't just become clear, they become achievable.
Solution or suggestions to overcome the problems. Firstly, strengthening leadership integrity and institutional independence. One of the primary leadership challenges faced by the Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission's MACC is maintaining institutions independent from political influence. To ensure public confidence, MACC leadership must not only act impartially but also be seen to be independent in decision making. The secondly is enhancing transparency and public communications. Transparent and consistent communication is critical in combating corruption and reinforcing public trust. The MNCC handling of the Jana Wibawa investigations, a case involving abuse of funds in a COVID-19 stimulus projects, highlights communication shortcoming. Third is strengthening inter-agency coordinations. Inter-agency coordination is vital in tackling complex corruption cases that involve multiple stakeholders and jurisdictions. In the investigation of the Jana Wibawa programs, delay in prosecution and conflicting public statement from the Attorney General Chambers, AGC and MNCC expose serious coordination channels. Next, legal and procedural reforms. The MNCC effectiveness is hindered by its lack of procedural powers and decisions to charge suspects under the powers of the Attorney General. The structural flaw was evidenced in the 2023 decision to drop 47 corruption charges against Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidis related to Yayasan Agabudis. Last but not least, leadership development and active trainings. Internal misconduct within anti-corruption agency pose a significant threat to public trust and organization credibility. In 2024, a senior MNCC official was charged with misappropriating over 600,000 worth of confiscated property